Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Racing Lights Productions, your home for sim racing. My name is Alex Slade, and we are live at the virtual Pocono Raceway for the Online Motorsports Association's Virtual Racing Championship, Barbie's Terrible 200. Last week, the Virtual Racing Championship went to their first international race in Austria's Red Bull Ring. A lot happened during the race. Guinness Motorsports' James Mendez got his second of the season. Coming tonight, we only have 2 races remaining in the regular season. As of tonight, we have one final race for drivers to try and make playoffs. Several of the top 12 drivers are basically locked in at this point. Some of them in the back half of the top 12 have the potential to lock themselves into the playoffs tonight. Tonight will be an interesting race as we go to the biggest triangle in the United States, Pocono Raceway. This 2.5-mile triangle, whose slogan is, "What is Turn 4?" has 3 very unique corners that all feature different lengths and banks. I expect the cars to be weaving down the very long straights to try and break the draft, try to separate themselves from others. But the big question is about Pocono. Is it 3 corners, or is it 5, or is it 6? How do you think about it? I like to mess with people and say that it's 5 because turn 1 is like 3. But the tunnel turn is really only like 1. That's just bad. Feel really free to share it in the chat, guys. What your guys' thoughts are about that. But strategy could prove to be very important for tonight's race. But before we get down to the track for tonight's starting grid, let's go look at points heading race. While we transition points to one thing, if you take a look at comment in the chat, you will be able to live timing that we have, so you can track, as well as timing tower and stuff like that we have on the broadcast. So, taking a look at the points standing, Jolene Sims is your new points leader for the first time this season. She's able to jump on up there, having herself a good run this season, so hopefully able to continue that here tonight. All of the top 3 drivers race winners, separated by 8 points between first to third. So Sims, Talmadge, Mendez, Tim Moore finishing second last week at the Red Bull Ring, finds himself in 4th place. Jewah back in 5th. And then outside of that, we got Thomas Green, Min Hang, Jared Newton, Jonathan Amodio, Isaac Shelley, Bradley Qualls, and Ryan Miniker all round out the drivers currently in the playoffs. Now, again, well, like we've mentioned before, the playoffs in the OMA VRC feature a wild card for the 11th and 12th spots. Wildcard basically works as if you're a driver that qualifies for the playoffs and you have like won a race outside of the top 12, there's a possibility that you are invited into the playoffs. So right now, nobody meets that conditions. Isaac Shelley is close to that, but I believe he is here tonight, so he won't have to worry too much about it. Now, before we get ready to go down to the grid, we'll take a look at the team standings, so you can see how things are playing out there. Guinness Motorsports in the lead with Planet Sim Sport Esports and Nexus Esports very close behind. There is a slight change to the teams. We got word this afternoon that Min Hang is actually changing teams. He is no longer a part of McGuinness Motorsports and is now transitioned over to Nexus Esports. So the driver of the 2 machine no longer a part of McGuinness Motorsports, where he got his first wins last season. He now is transitioned over to Nexus Esports with Jewah. Now, taking a look at the schedule, I know we have tonight at Pocono. Next week, we're at Talladega. After that, we are going to head out to the playoffs after Dega. We got Darlington, Coda, Vegas, Atlanta, Dover, and Chicagoland all for our playoffs. It's going to be a very interesting playoffs because we've got a wide variety of tracks. So Darlington, a very challenging track. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of skill to be able to maneuver around there and be very quick, as well as keeping your car clean. That's 90% of the battle. Coda, just a very challenging road course, a long road course for these cars. It takes a lot to be able to maneuver this car around there. You really have to make sure you're keeping the car within the track limits, stuff like that. It's a fun track to drive, very challenging. Then you got Vegas, Atlanta, Dover, another very challenging track, especially in the next-gen car. And then wrapping up like we did last season at Chicagoland. Chicagoland was a great race for the finale, so we decided we're heading back there for this season finale. But with all that being said, we need to head down to the grid and get our starting lineup underway. So let's go take a look at where everybody is starting in tonight's race. Starting off with our pole sitter, Jewah, taking the pole. I believe this is like one of his, either his first or one of his first poles for this season. Jolene Sims is going to be alongside of him, just 0.03 of a second off. Then in the second row, we're going to have Jared Talmadge with Tim Moore. Outside of that, back to row 3, we've got JT Sipes and Kyle England. Row 4 is going to be Thomas Green and Ryan Miniker. And row 5, rounding out the top 10, is going to be Tyler Dohar and Fabricio Lamana. In row 6, we've got Brian Baker and Justin Rosema. And then going outside of that to row 7, you're going to have James Mendez, and our first driver not to qualify, making his first appearance here this season, Daniel Botafuco. Very nice to see the NASCAR Heat Pro driver back into the mix of things here tonight. Then out to row 8, we've got Tyler Glass and Isaac Shelley, Gatlin Downey, Jared Newton in row 9. Row 10, Kevin Yerguez and Brad Qualls. And then in row 11, we've got Vincenzo Iacovazzi. I hope I am saying that correctly. And then rounding out the field is Jimmy Amos. 22 cars taking the field here tonight. Very full lineup for tonight's race for the Barbies. Terrible 200. You can see as they come down the Long Pond straight into the tunnel turn. A lot of track here for these drivers to maneuver throughout tonight. But where's Jolene Sims? Still on pits. I don't think she gritted up. Hopefully everything okay for Jolene Sims. She'll be able to join us here tonight. But we're going to get things heading underway here shortly. 80 laps here tonight. Halfway point will be lap 40. That's where we'll take our stage points. But here we go. We come around turn 3. Benny, the pace car driver, making that hard left off. And here we come up to the line. Jewah taking the green flag here tonight at the Pocono Raceway. As they come diving down into turn 1, you can see them already jockeying for position 2, almost 3 wide as they dive into turn 1, getting ready to go down the Long Pond straight. Very long turn 1. You really have to make sure you get that car to stick the nose in. It's hard to do on full tires. And you see them all over the place coming around the back stretch. As we head down the Long Pond straight down towards the tunnel turn. 2x2 here for the lead. That is Jewah. Jared Talmadge battling it out for the race lead. Looks like Talmadge going to settle in behind Jewah. Drew going to settle that lead, and it's going to almost be single file from there as we go through back up to the front stretch. Not a great exit there for Drew, as he's going to have to try and keep Jared Talmadge behind. The question is Jared going to try and go around? The draft is going to be super important here, as these feature some of the longest straights in all of not only the OMA VRC schedule, but the NASCAR schedule as well. This is one of the biggest tracks on the circuit. Features incredibly long straights, like the Long Pond straight here that we were on. And you can see Drew kind of jockeying, moving around here, trying to find a lane. You got a couple drivers shuffling around further behind, trying to just find some space to make a move. Maybe make a move down the inside. And we got one sliding a little bit. That is Justin Rosema. No, not Justin Rosema. Sorry. Sure who that is. The 92, that is James Mendez trying to rejoin safely. She's Daniel Botafuco all over the back end of that 92 car. It's going to go down to the inside. Botafuco in the 13 is going to try and move himself up another spot. Oh, we got one spinning off of the turn 4. That's going to be Vincenzo Iacovazzi. No caution, though. Nobody coming around, so he's going to be able to get that car back going. As you can see, things starting to spread out a little bit, mostly keeping things single file. Tires should be starting to heat up and get some good grip in them. Because as you go through, the big thing is just trying to keep that car steady underneath you. because there's not a ton of banking through turns 2 and turns 3, it's really hard to keep that car from sliding the back end. If you send it too hard on the gas early in either the exit of turn 3 or turn 2, you're going to find yourself starting to slide out, as we've already seen a couple drivers losing some control, not only coming out of the corner, but into the wall on the outside. As you can see there, a couple of them hitting it coming onto the front stretch. Jewah still our race leader. Going back a little bit further here, we've got a couple battles going on. This is the battle right now for the 10th place spot, sorry, 9th place spot. We've got Daniel Botafuco with Fabricio Lamana as they go down the long pond straight. I keep wanting to say the back straight. It is not the back straight, it's the long pond straight. So they head into the tunnel turn. Fabricio Lamana just going to settle in behind Botafuco. They don't want to lose the draft as they're about a half a second off from the guys in front of them. You can see slowly gaining as well. Another battle going on behind James Mendez, Isaac Shelley side by side going into turn 3. And turn 3 is a real hard one. You definitely have to make sure you get it right, because if you get on the gas too hard, not only will the car start to slide out, but you're going to find yourself going straight up into that outside wall. It's very easy to burn off the rears here very, very quickly. Because these exits, you really have to get on the gas hard for them. Because you want to stick that nose in. Turn 1's got the most banking out of all 3 corners here. You want to stick that nose in, get it to stick in the corner, dig it in, and then you want to get on the throttle hard. That way you can carry enough speed to get down the long pond straight. If you don't carry that speed out, then you're just going to have drivers blowing by you heading into the tunnel turn. Tunnel turn is just a quick little blip on the brake to get the car to rotate. Then you're very quickly back on the throttle. We'll have to take a ride around on board with Jewah, so you guys can really get a hear of what it's like to go around Pocono and get a feel for exactly what I'm talking about here as we go through our 3 corners and the 2.5 miles here. So let's hop on board. Oh, never mind. Caution on track. Not sure who brought that one out. Looks like it might be Jimmy Amos. He is sideways, it looks like, off of the tunnel turn, off of turn 2. Six laps in before we got our first caution here for tonight. Taking a look through the positions right now. We've got Drew, your race leader. Jared Talmadge, second place. Thomas Green has moved up 4 spots already. He is currently 3rd. JT Sipes 4th. And Tim Moore is currently in 5th. Our biggest mover so far for tonight going to be that of the number 19, who's actually the 13 on track. That is Daniel Botafuco. He is up 6 spots here so far, while the opposite, the biggest mover going back, will be Ryan Miniker in the 8 car. He's currently back 7 spots. So not a great start for him. Possibly just having some trouble getting those tires warmed up and getting the grip in them. But so far, he's found himself back a handful of spots. So Dukes, you're saying you would bet $1,000. So here's the thing. Jolene Sims did not take the grid tonight. Not sure what happened with the 6 car. If she's having internet trouble or what the deal is, but she is not on the grid here. So a little unfortunate. Maybe she'll get the car out there. But she has yet to get that 6 machine on track. So now we go around for the very, very long laps here around Pocono under pacing. Hopefully we don't get too many of these. So, while they are going around, I do want to highlight a couple things. So, one thing I went through with the last week's race after the Red Bull Ring, James Mendez got his 2nd win of the season. We went ahead and compiled the race winners so far for season 11. You can see down in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got a wide spread of drivers finding their way into victory lane this year. Throughout last season, we had a lot of it was Jared Talmadge and Drew Jewah really running away with it, getting the majority of the wins. They both, I believe, had over 5 wins last season. And interesting to see everybody coming down pit lane. Jewah, excuse me, he is the only one staying out. We'll see how the mad dash down pit lane goes. I'm sure everybody just coming down for a quick little splash and dash. As you can see, Tim Moore messing up his box there. Kyle England as well. Looks like Jolene Sims is going to finally get back out of the pits. So she's going to be able to make her first laps here in the race. Yeah, you can see in the bottom corner, wide range of drivers getting wins here this season. We have 5 different race winners, maybe adding to that list here tonight. But Jolene Sims, Isaac Shelley, both with 1, Drew Jewah, James Mendez, Jared Talmadge, all with 2 race wins. So we're going to go through the choose this time, but coming through the pits this time, Jared Talmadge was the winner off pit road. Thomas Green found himself up a couple spots. JT Sipes found himself as well moving up. Isaac Shelley gaining a lot of positions. He is up now 11 spots there from where he started. So might be able to gain himself an opportunity to fight for the race lead, looking to earn his 2nd win of the season. One of the bigger losers on pit road, Tim Moore, dropping back from 5th to 15th. You also have Daniel Motafuka, who dropped back a handful of positions. And I believe Dustin Rosemont also dropping back a few spots as well. So we'll see who decides to take the inside, who decides to take the outside this time around. Drew going to take the inside. Everybody basically taking the inside. Jared Talmadge going to be the leader of the outside lane. It'll be Thomas Green behind. Or maybe not. I'm very confused because Thomas Green was behind Jared. Oh, is that Sipes? Oh, it is Sipes. I am so sorry. I was confusing Sipes with Talmadge. So one other little side note for drivers that are stopping down, taking a little splash of fuel. You can see a handful of them here coming out of pit road. If you stop and take gas on the chain, on the choose lane, then that means you go to the end of the longest line. So it doesn't really matter which lane you want to choose. You have to go to the end of the longest line. So it looks like that'll be the outside line. So a handful of drivers choosing to pit. Looks like James Mendez might be one of those. Tim Moore. We've got Brian Miniker, Brian Baker. So there's a handful of drivers all going to start at the end of the outside line. As we get ready to go green flag racing, we'll go green on lap 10. We're going to go green flag racing this time around as we come off turn 3. The field will be in the hands of Drew Jewah as he goes through the Geico restart zone. So as we come off of turn 3, Benny the pace car driver going to make that hard left. Barney the flagman is ready to go once we go through that restart zone. And we are green flag racing once more. Drew gets a phenomenal jump. He's going to pull himself very far ahead as he gets heading down into turn 1. Thomas Green is going to be stuck side by side with Jarrett Talmadge. Looks like further back, somebody not getting on the gas quick enough. A little bit of a stack up further behind. As race control came across on radio saying there's not going to be any penalty for anybody that had to avoid it and got out of line. Usually it is a penalty if you get out of line before the start-finish line. Pretty quickly getting into single file, though, as we get ready to head down into the tunnel turn. The top 5 as we go single file down towards turn 3. Oh, that is a big off there. Tyler Glass is in the inside wall, and that's going to bring out our second caution here tonight. I think he just got loose off the tunnel turn. That car looks pretty beat up. As he caught that inside wall pretty good. We'll go back and watch the onboard here with Tyler Glass to see what happened there. for the 5. It looks like the toe might be a little broken as he comes around turn 3. I'm sure he's going to be diving down the inside. Yeah, he's having some trouble there. Looks like he might be a little skewed. As you can see, looks like he's crabbing just a little bit down the front stretch. Let's go back, watch the replay, and see what happened there for the 5 car. He's coming off the tunnel turn, and yeah, the car just gets a little loose on him. Nothing you really can do. It's hard to save it once you get loose, especially on that after that tunnel turn. It's such a high-paced corner. Let's go on board here. We'll go on the gyro cam with the 5 car. Yeah, and that's a hard place there. That little lip coming out of turn 2 is very quick to lose control. That brings out our second caution here tonight. Jolene Sims is out on track, and so is Gatlin Downey. So both of them making it back on track. Not sure what was going on there with them, but glad to see them both on track. Gatlin Downey is going to be, I believe it is 6 laps down. Jolene Sims is 7 laps down. Jimmy Amos, 5 laps down. A bunch of drivers coming down, led by race leader Drew Jewah. Several others electing to stay out this time. So a quick top off here for many of these guys. Tim Moore, one of those drivers, has come down every time he can and every opportunity. Try and just get a little bit of extra fuel. You can also see James Mendez joining, Ryan Miniker, a handful of drivers coming down each time just to top off their fuel loads. Oh, I think we might have lost Drew. Is he back on track? No, he's still gone. Not sure what happened, if he had to go or whatnot. I guess we'll see if he gets back on track. So while we're parading around, so we looked last time through, we looked at this season's winners. We haven't really taken a look at the all-time VRC winners. So before last season, season 10, was the first season on iRacing for the OMA VRC. So taking a look here across these 2 seasons, there is the total list of race winners. We have had 8 different winners across our 2 seasons. I don't know what is going on this race, Dukes. But across the 2 seasons, we've had 8 total winners. You can see Drew had 8 wins last season. Jarrett Talmadge had 4 last season. And so this season, both of them having 2. Drew has a clear advantage there with 10 wins. Jarrett has 6. Jolene with 4. Eric O'Connor, who I think has only made 1 start this season, has 2 race wins. He won 2 road courses last year. Min Hang has himself 2 wins from last season. You have James Mendez's 2 wins this year. JT Sipes also took a win last year, and you have Isaac Shelley's win at the Daytona road course from this season. That's a look at the the VRC race winners on the iRacing side of things. Next caution, we can take a look at the all-time race winners. That list much larger because the OMA VRC has been around for quite a while, 9 seasons over on NASCAR Heat. It looks like Drew Jewah might have just parked it. So he might have just stopped in for points. Well, he's leading a handful of laps. So that means Thomas Green's going to be the race leader. He assumes the race lead. You know, Jarrett Talmadge leading the inside line. Behind them will be JT Sipes on the outside, Isaac Shelley on the inside. And then in the 3rd row, Tyler Dohar in the 77, and Daniel Bonafuco in the 13. And that'll be our starting lineup, at least for the first couple of rows. We come out of turn 4. Sorry, turn 3. My gosh. Such a habit of trying to say turn 4 for every race that we have, but it's all good. There we go, coming around turn 3. Field in the hands of sorry, not JT. I'm making mistakes all over the place tonight. Thomas Green leads the field. And he's going to get himself a good jump. Should be able to get clear of Jarrett Talmadge. And he's got a good push behind from Isaac Shelley. He got a little bit of moving around further back, trying to see if they can find the draft, find some clean air. Daniel Buttafuoco moves up. He's going to get behind Tyler Dohar to try and set up his turn 1. So we'll see how the 77 and 13, if they're working together there, coming down the long pond straight. But it's going to be Thomas Green leading them out of turn 1 with JT saves behind. Jared Talmadge still on the inside line. He should fall off here as Isaac Shelley gets in line with the rest of the field going into the tunnel turn. Diving into the tunnel turn side by side for second place. And a little bit of a slide there for JT Sipes. Got to keep control of that car as you come out. That little bump on the exit of turn 2 always makes it pretty tricky. A short shoot down into turn 3 as the drivers head down around this long sweeping corner. You don't want to get on the throttle too early, otherwise your car is going to get very, very tight. Get around, back around to the front stretch, lap 15. Thomas Green still in charge of the field. The inside line, you've got Daniel Buttafuoco. Dohar maybe pushing down that inside line. Not really going to get too far, though. A little bit of a wiggle there from the 77. You can see a little bit of weave in here for Thomas Green. He's using up a couple lanes of the track. Here comes Buttafuoco on the inside. Isaac Shelley. Shelley just going to back out, see if he can set something up on the exit of turn 2. Maybe to go down turn 3. That inside line, usually the preferred line going around turn 3. As you can see, Dohar is going to push the inside with Sipes. Contact made between the two. They both get shoved to the outside. It's going to be 3 wide almost coming on the exit. Nothing bad happening there. Huge disaster avoided. Both losing a spot or 2. But they'll definitely take that over losing their race cars altogether. Tim Moore now coming down on the inside. They're side by side with that. And, 3 wide. Now Dohar gets moved a little bit by JT Sipes. And they are just pushing each other around here between the 99 and the 77. Lots of contact being made, and Dohar, I'm sure, is going to remember that one. Side by side with Fabricio Lamana coming on the exit. JT Sipes still holding his own. Let's see if he can catch back up to Tim Moore. But looking back to the front, things spreading out a little bit. Shelley getting a little bit of a distance from Tim Moore. A gap behind is building. If they can spread that out past that 1 second mark, this front 4 might be able to pull away from the field. And big slide there from, I think that's the 10. That is Yakavazi again coming off of turn 3. Having trouble. We saw it earlier at the beginning of the race. Doing it again here. Brings out our 3rd caution for tonight. Thankfully not making contact with anybody, but this time because there were cars oncoming, it threw out that flag. So as we are under caution, let's go take a look at what happened there for Vincenzo. It's on the throttle, and the car, back end just slides out a little bit from underneath of him. A big save, though. Able to lock it down and keeps it from getting into any other drivers. Let's go take a look on board here with him like we did for Tyler Glass. Yeah, just pushing a little too hard there, trying to get the car to rotate. And it snaps on him, losing control. Nothing too crazy there. We'll see if the drivers up front decide to come down for fuel again. Let's go take a look now since we have a moment. We'll take a look at the all-time VRC race winners. Jewah leads that by a good bit, almost doubling Tyler McDonald's total. Tim Moore in third. Tim Moore, though, is yet to win on iRacing. It's something that he has been so elusive for him. He's had a couple really close opportunities. Last week was another one of them, finishing second place. But he has 24 wins, so he would love to try and pass Tyler McDonald, but he just can't seem to get that 69 car into victory lane here in the VRC. Then you have Sebastian Kukulon in fourth place with 17 race wins. Jarrett Talmadge, ever since we came to iRacing, has found great success. 6 wins on iRacing, has doubled his career totals in the 2 seasons we've been on iRacing, which sets him apart from the rest of the field, because past that, there are a lot of drivers that have 6 race wins in the VRC, but he is up to 12 himself. Looks like we are all coming down pit road this time. Kevin Jewah is electing to stay out. The only driver choosing to stay out here. So we'll see how the race on pit road goes this time. Will we see drivers take tires is going to be the question. It looks like Thomas Green is going to. You see Sipes get tires. Tim Moore does not. Tim Moore off pit road. Daniel Botafuco off pit road as well. Maybe taking right sides only, but we see Thomas Green take all 4. Your former race leader going to have 4 freshies out there. Tim Moore, Jared Talmadge not taking tires. Daniel Botafuco looks like he is the first one that did take tires. He took the right sides, it appears. Thomas Green taking a full set. Isaac Shelley, JT Sipes also taking full sets of tires. Kyle England, James Mendez, and Brad Qualls all taking 4 full Goodyear tires. So keep an eye out to see how the drivers that took tires are going to fare of the drivers that didn't. Big issue, again, like with these tires, just takes time to get them warmed up on these next-gen cars. Especially with that shallow banking, it's something you definitely have to build a car up for. It'll be interesting to see how the right sides react versus taking all 4. It appears that we only had one driver take right sides only, and that would be the car we're currently looking at, Daniel Botafuco, driver of the 13. So we're going to take the choose this time. Kevin Jewah is leading the field around. So he's going to elect to stay on the outside line. Tim Moore going to lead the inside. He'll have Tyler Dohar behind with Thomas Green, Ryan Miniker, Justin Rosema, and JT Sipes further behind. But will Tim Moore take fuel? Because he's come down every time and stopped at his box to take fuel, but he's looking like he is going to stay out. Tyler Dohar, though, is electing to come in. So Tim Moore is actually going to have Thomas Green behind him on that inside lane. Taking a look at our lane choices on the outside. We've got Kevin Jewah as Jarrett Talmadge, Daniel Botafuco, Jared Newton, and Brian Baker. On the inside, we've got Tim Moore, Thomas Green, Ryan Miniker, it looks like Fabricio Lamana, and JT Sipes. That's your top 10. So we get ready to go green flag racing this time by. As a reminder, lap 40 is our halfway point, our quote-unquote stage, where we award our bonus points. Top 10 drivers all earn bonus points. So we're about half, we'll actually be halfway when we cross the line this time. So Kevin Jewah is going to be in charge of the field here. He has not come down since the first caution, so we'll see how his old tires are going to fare. Pretty much everybody on old tires, the only handful of drivers that have elected to take 4 freshies. Green flag racing, though, as Kevin Yerguez leads the field around, and it's being told that the race leader, Kevin Yerguez, went early in the restart zone, so he's getting told drop to the rear as contact almost made. We're almost 4 wide coming off of turn 1. Holy cow, that was close. Jarrett Talmadge right up there in front, side by side with Tim Moore. So they get ready to go into the tunnel turn 2 by 2 for the first 4 cars as they go through turn 2. Tim Moore, unfortunately, the big loser there, has to really let off to keep that car off the outside wall. Coming down the short shoot down towards turn 3. Jarrett Talmadge, the race leader. Daniel Buttafuoco, though, going to try and get to that race lead. Thomas Green going a little tight through turn 3, has to back out of it, stay off of Tim Moore. And now here we go. We have the bob and weave here from Jarrett Talmadge. Going to dive to the inside, trying to break up the toe. Buttafuoco's got some help behind. Oh, we got one in the wall further behind. We got some side-by-side here. The 45 Jared Newton side-by-side with Isaac Shelley. This is currently the battle for 6th place as Shelley's going to be on the inside, still going into the tunnel turn. Really deep from the 45, almost getting into the 8 of Ryan Miniker. Has to really let off there onto the exit of the tunnel turn. And oh, we got one spinning. That is the one of Brian Baker. JT Sipes involved with that one. Baker's got to lock it down. Almost washing up into the track. A lot of incidents going on there. Hopefully nothing too bad. The 99 involved. That is the 26 of Justin Rosema involved. And then we had Bradley Qualls also. I think was the initiating incident. And they brought out the caution. Let's go watch that real quick. The driver of the 16 car. Oh, yep, just got a, 13 car. Got a little loose. The car just couldn't be saved from there. Thankfully, him and Dohart doesn't look like any damage between the two. But let's go take a look at the secondary incident. Sorry, wrong one there. Take a look at the secondary incident here. This is between Baker, Sipes, and Rosema. Not a very good look there from Rosema's on board. Not sure what happened between Sipes and Baker. Let's go take a look here. So we're on board with the 99 of JT Sipes. So you have a slow Jared Newton. And no space between the 1 and the 45 and the 99. It almost seems like JT Sipes thought they were clear. Let's go through that one more time. We'll slow it down here as we get a little bit closer to that contact. Yeah, he comes out. I don't think he expected him to shoot out into the middle like that, seeing there really wasn't a lane for it, but he was trying to stay off of the 45 who had contact. So, yeah, just unfortunate there. A little bit of damage on the right front there for JT Sipes. I don't know how bad it's going to be, though. We'll see what he chooses to do. A lot of drivers coming in this time around for fuel, some coming for tires. The front 8 cars all electing to stay out, though. Jarrett Talmadge all the way through Vincenzo Iacovazzi. See, I will say this is one of the more incident caused races. The races for the most part this season have been very, very clean. And the problem with Pocono is it is a very tough track. Coming off turn 2, it gets very, very loose. Turn 3 is just a very, very fine line on where you can get the tires, where you can push the tires, and where you can get on the throttle. So it's a very tough track. Turn 1 you can push very tight, very, very easily. So I totally get like why we have so many cautions. It's not an easy track to run. But other than just having like a couple driver incidents, for the most part, it's been a very clean race. Nothing really bad in terms of like wrecking for position and stuff like that. It's just drivers getting a little loose and losing control with it. That's really it. Taking a look, Daniel Buttafuoco is going to lead the inside line. Oh, Thomas Green behind with Ryan Mineker. And then on the outside line, Jared Talmadge is going to be leading us to the green. Tim Moore behind. Isaac Shelley, Jared Newton. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the race so far. You can join us next week as well. We are going to be having our regular season finale at the Talladega Super Speedway. So it's going to be a last chance for drivers outside of the top 12 to be able to make the playoffs, as well as drivers that are still on that bubble on the inside of the top 12 be able to lock themselves in. And there's quite a few. While we have a moment, why don't we go take a look real quick at the driver standings, just to give you a reminder. Actually, you can see below some of them too. It only has the top 10. We'll take a look real quick. You can see Brian Baker just on the outside. Victor Imbassiani. I don't know why I got caught off. He is on the outside looking in, but he is not here tonight. Jimmy Amos on the outside looking in. JT Sipes as well. So a handful of drivers that still have a chance. They need to have big points tonight. So we come around this time, we're going to go green flag racing. It's going to be under control from Jarrett Talmadge. Cross your fingers, hope we can get some more green flag laps in. We've got 15 to go to our halfway point for our stage. So we'll see how big of a jump is he going to get. We've had the race leader always get a pretty solid jump, enough to clear the inside lanes. Tim Moore is going to be pushing pretty hard on Jarrett Talmadge. He's going to get himself out ahead. He'll be side by side with Daniel Buttafuoco going through turn 1. Now Thomas Green getting in there as well, trying to stick that nose in. It's further behind. You see the drivers really spreading out throughout turn 1. So as we settle out single file, Talmadge, Buttafuoco, Moore, Green, Shelley. That is your top 5 as we head down to turn 2. And that's going to be Thomas Green diving to the inside on Tim Moore. He's going to be able to clear that pass very easily. And so that's now up to 3rd place there for the driver of the 3 car, honoring Dale Sr. tonight in that Goodwrench Intimidator black. Lovely, lovely paint scheme. Huge fan of Dale Earnhardt for me growing up. So it's awesome to see that car on track anytime I see it. We're going to see Buttafuoco not going to follow Talmadge. Going to go for the crossover side by side through turn 1. Battle for the race lead. Buttafuoco is going to clear him easy, but we'll see. Will Talmadge try to cross him back and go down the inside, down the Long Pond straight, almost making contact with the back end of the 13 as they come out of turn 1. They're going to be side by side as they get ready to head down to the tunnel turn. Going to look to get some side draft, try to get even with him as he goes through into turn 2. Contact for the race lead. They're able to keep it together. Thomas Green waiting behind. Thomas Green's going to try and move to the inside of Talmadge. They go through turn 3, long sweeping turn. They're going to be almost door to door coming off the exit of turn 3. And so Daniel Buttafuoco, new race leader here. We have been swapping around the race lead a good bit so far throughout tonight's race. Lots of race leaders. as Tim Moore pushes very deep through turn 1 and end up giving that position back to Thomas Green. The field's starting to thin out. We get single file and spread out pretty far for the first time here tonight. Many times we've gone single file, but we haven't really spread out quite this far. So we'll see if we continue this trend and drivers start to pull away. That top 6, top 5 really look like they're getting close to separating away from the rest of the field and trying to run away with this. Moving further back in the field, we've got a couple battles going on. Fabricio Lamana with Tyler Glass here. Battle for 10th place right now. We haven't seen much from Lamana this season, but Tyler Glass, he's had some really good runs both season 10, season 11. Just has never really just seemed to have the luck that some drivers possess. He's always caught himself, get himself in good positions, but never is able to finish the race the way he quite wants. So he's hoping to be able to turn that around tonight, currently running 10th place. Going a little bit further ahead, we've got a good battle going on side by side. That is James Mendez in the 92, currently 3rd in points. Gets a little loose off the tunnel turn exit. He's going to be side by side with Jared Newton. Now going down the short chute into turn 3. Try to look the inside of Ryan Miniker. Not going to get it to stick. Ryan Miniker going to be able to stay ahead. Miniker holding on to 7th place right now as JT Sipes kind of in the middle of nowhere right now as that front group seems to have pulled away from the rest of the field. Here to be Mendez diving down the inside. Gonna try and get side by side with Miniker on the exit. The problem is, if you do that, you gotta get that pass done before you get onto the long pond straight, because then you see what happens. You're just gonna get blown out because you're not in the draft. The draft is so important here at I almost called it Daytona. Pocono is contact. Oh man, contact made between the 45 and the 92, and no, Tyler Glass gets caught in that one. And just a bad day for the 5 car. What an unfortunate day for Tyler Glass. So let's go take a look here between, it was James Mendez. I think he made contact with the 45. There was a contact through the tunnel turn. Yeah, and just gets loose coming off of turn 2. So let's ride on board here with the 92. See contact there. When the car gets loose, he just, gasses it up, trying to get it straight. Nothing he can do. Let's hop on board with Tyler Glass here and get the view from behind here. He tries to clear. Yeah, nothing he can do because you don't expect the 92 to spin down into you like that. So big incident there for Tyler Glass. I don't think he used his fast repair earlier. So I think he still has it, hopefully. That way you can get that 5 car back out there from McGinnis Motorsports. But it looks like most drivers coming down pit lane this time by. Looks like pretty much everybody coming in. Fabricio Lamana electing to stay out. Vincenzo Iacovazzi staying out as well. As a reminder, lap 40, start of lap 40, is where we take our stage points. We're getting very close to that. Isaac Shelley. Not going to lead the field out. It's going to be Thomas Green leading the field out. Sorry about that. I had to take a moment. I thought I heard my son trying to wake up upstairs. I'm a little like on edge tonight. He was not feeling well before the broadcast. As we were getting ready to put him down for bed, he started throwing up. So I'm like constantly checking to make sure he's all good upstairs. He's still asleep, so we're all good to go. Yeah, so sorry about that for that moment of silence. I thought I heard him. Wanted to check and make sure he was still sleeping. So after all is said and done through the pit stops, you can see Fabrizio Lamanna and Vincenzo Iacovazzi all staying out. Thomas Green, Isaac Shelley, Tyler Dohar, the first ones that came down. So we're going to see Lamanna come down the inside. Iacovazzi stays out. Thomas Green coming down the inside. Dohar, Talmadge, Sipes, Miniker, Rosema, Glass all coming down the inside. Taking a look at Tyler Glass. That car is fully repaired. Ready to go. Taking a look at James Mendez. It looks like he elected to take the damage repairs instead of using his fast repair. So a very interesting front row here. We have Fabrizio Lamanna and Vincenzo Iacovazzi on the front row. And if I heard correctly over the driver radio, I believe this is Fabrizio Lamanna's first lap ever led in the OMA VRC. So congratulations to the 31 for making it to the front for the first time in his career. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold that here. Most drivers just taking fuel that last time around. Looks like Jared Talmadge, JT Sipes, as well as Tim Moore, Rosema, Glass, Baker, all electing to take 4 tires. Taking 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. We get ready to go green, the fight for the stage. We'll see how aggressive everybody is going to choose to be. The field is going to be under control of Fabrizio Lamanna on the inside. So there we go. Benny, the pace car driver, makes that hard left. And here we go. Green flag racing once more. A big jump there for Iacovazzi. He is long gone. Isaac Shelley behind him. The big battle, though, is right here. Thomas Green in 3rd place. You've got Tyler Dohar, Jared Talmadge, Jared Newton. All in line here trying to get around Lamanna. We get ready to go to the tunnel turn side by side with Lamanna. He's going to send it hard. Staying side by side with Talmadge. Not enough on the exit. Talmadge is going to clear him and move up to 5th place, back into the top 5. It's always interesting to see how drivers choose to take the turn 3. A lot of different ideas and thoughts behind how you approach turn 3. Some drivers elect to get hard on the brake and then trail it off, take a wide exit, and then, wide entry into a late exit. Some drivers try to get deep out on the inside as we've got Kevin Yerguez around. Kudos to the field staying around him. Wow. That could have been disaster. Oh, Tim Moore's around. Not sure what turned Tim around. But Kevin Yerguez, I think he just got loose off of turn 4. Or turn 1, I mean. Oh, there was contact made for him. Oh, and that's what happened with Tim. We'll have to go on board and ride Tim's because he was literally hopping down around the apron. No big damage there for the 34. But now we're on board with the 69 of Tim Moore. He tried to avoid everything. Does a beautiful job at it. Oh my gosh, that car is literally bouncing. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. We got to go back and watch that one more time from a wider angle, because poor Tyler Glass. Poor Tyler Glass gets hit once again. That is absolutely brutal. Well, I think we're going to have a one-lap shootout here for the stage. My math could be wrong. We might have 2 laps. I would be shocked if we had anybody come down pit lane this time and risk giving up the track position. We'll kind of have to wait and see. Thomas Green is looking to go in. It looks like he will dive into the pits. Here, Talmadge, Akavazi, Newton, Botafuco, Sipes. Yeah, we actually have a fair amount of drivers coming down pit lane. More than I expected. The ones electing to stay out, Shelley, Dohar, Amana, Mendez, and Rosma, all staying out. Jimmy Amos, your lucky dog this time around. He actually, with that, is going to be on the lead lap. Jolene Sims, Gatlin Downey still both 6 laps down. Yeah, 6 cautions at the halfway point. Like I said, it's not an easy track to drive. And that's, again, what most of our incidents have been drivers just struggling with grip. Not really as much incidents with racing. So hopefully we can, now that we've got through the first half, we can get it all figured out and straightened away for the second half of the race. So we're going to take our choose this time around. Isaac Shelley's going to stay on the outside. Thomas Green coming down the inside. Tyler Dohar and Fabricio Lamana. Tyler Dohar, Fabricio Lamana on the outside with Isaac Shelley, as well as Jared Newton and Brad Qualls. The inside will be Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge, James Mendez, Justin Rosma. So we are going to have a 1-lap shootout here to the stage. So beginning of lap 40 is where we take the stage. We do not throw the caution flag for stage. Keep it rolling green. Or we'll go back, freeze the field in order to get the stage points. So here we go, getting ready to go green flag racing. After our 6th caution, our 6th restart. Hopefully we can keep things going here. We come around turn 3. Betting the pace car driver going to take it off. And here we go, field in the hands of Thomas Green and Isaac Shelley. We are green flag racing. Good timing there from Isaac Shelley. As he actually, I think he's going to get a bit of a jump over Thomas Green. He's going to get himself cleared going into turn 1. The race for the stage win. It's a 1-lap shootout coming around. As we Isaac Shelley into the outside wall. It was going to be him clear. Now has to play some defense. Going to try and get down in front of Dohar. They're almost 3 wide. Coming down the long pond straight. Going into the tunnel turn. It's going to be Isaac Shelley with a little bit of an edge here. But it's going to be Thomas Green down the inside. Talmadge going to try and make himself a part of the conversation. Looking to make it 3 wide. Not going to be able to get there on the exit of the tunnel turn. And now we've got 3 wide going into turn 3. It's going to be 2 by 2 just behind for the race lead. Dohar's getting turned a little bit by Mendez. He's going to try and recover it. And they are, into the outside wall. That is a huge wreck behind. Isaac Shelley is going to take the stage win. But holy cow. Lots of damage behind. Mendez getting caught up in all sorts of incidents here tonight. Oh, we got real hard trying to get control. Taking out another one. Vincenzo Iacovazzi involved as well. Looks like Fabrizio Lamana, JT Sipes. I don't know if he made it out clean on that one. Lots of drivers getting caught up in that one. Let's go back and watch that one more time and see what really initiated that, because it was coming off here. It's hard to see from that angle. We're going to go back and watch that one more time. We'll go from the blimp here so we can get the wide view of exactly what happened. Yeah, Mendez pushes really deep. Keeps making contact. He then gets into Lamana trying to get the car down a little bit. Newton hits him. Miniker get caught up in this. I think he avoids all of it. Ooh, Kevin Arguez takes a good licking. Tyler Glass somehow avoids all of it. And Vincenzo Iacovazzi also caught up somewhere in that mess. Let's go right on board here with the 77 of Tyler Dohar. You can see trying to hold it together. Just can't seem to keep it because it keeps making contact. And then you're just along for the ride at that point. Just lock it up, do the best you can to try and keep that car as still as you can for any other drivers coming through. Let's go back right on board here with the 92 of Jared Newton. Oh, sorry, 45 of Jared Newton. As he gets caught up in this as well, further behind. Tries to get out of the way, but not far enough. I want to get a look from the 92 of James Mendez. In one moment here, we got to find him. So Mendez, he sends it really deep. Not really any room for him to be doing that. Ends up getting squeezed here because the Lana came up a little bit. And yeah, he just becomes a bumper car there from that point on. Nothing he can do. He's just along for the ride at that point. Take a look at Kevin Arguez now, driver of the 34 machine. He almost made it through, further behind here. And you can see Tim Moore starts to move Julian Sims pieces out of the way. Yeah, he just didn't turn down enough down to the inside. Ends up getting caught there. Doesn't look like he took too much damage, though. Let's go through one more driver. We're looking on board with Brad Qualls. Bradley Qualls had a... He went through it, managed to survive. You can also ride on board with Jolene Sims and see how she made it through. See the smoke, and it's, oh boy, everybody piecing out of the way. And there was a lot of room. The Reyes probably could have came down a little bit further. Let's take a look on board Jolene Sims as she trying to get some laps back. Still 5 laps, 6 laps down, I believe. She's on the outside, so really limited on place to be able to go. GC Smoke just gets the outside. Thankfully, everybody came in the middle of the field. She's able to keep it clean. So I think we are actually going one more pace lap here. I could be wrong. Isaac Shelley won the stage. And we're going to have to go one more lap around. So the outside line, that gives us a moment to look. Since we were watching the replay so much, we get a chance to actually see where everybody's lining up here. Not sure why Jolene Sims is so far up the order, but she is. The outside line is going to be Jarrett Talmadge, Brian Baker, Jolene Sims, JT Sipes, Jared Newton. The inside line, just 4 cars this time. Ryan Miniker, Thomas Green, Kevin Arguez, and Isaac Shelley. So as we get ready to go green flag racing this time around, we'll turn off the mic and we'll kick up the sound from the track. Sights and sounds of Pocono Raceway. A lot of drivers choosing to come down for that time. Thomas Green, Kevin Arguez, Botafuco, Shelley, Moore, Qualls, lots of drivers electing to take tires as well. So I like to see drivers maybe a little slidey coming around turns 2 and 3. Some caution being out there on fresh, cold tires. But here we go. Getting ready to go green flag racing yet again. I will give you the sights and sounds of Pocono Raceway. And we've got a couple sliders that are coming off of turn 2. Kevin Arguelles, and I believe that is Justin Rosema. Not sure who spun first. And, oh, yep, a little bit of contact, but Fuka gets in a little too close. And holy cow. Rosema came quickly across the 13. Not sure what happened there for Rosema. Let's go on board with the 26. Did you see her up ahead there? There's Kevin Arguelles in that light yellow greenish car. A little contact with Buttafuoco. And he just makes a jerk move to try and avoid it. He saw the spin, not sure why. I'm not sure why he decided to keep going straight for so long. Maybe thinking they were going to get off the racing surface, but he was driving right at them. So unfortunately, our 8th caution here tonight. Handful of drivers coming down pit lane yet again. Taking a look, we didn't really get a chance to do our mid-race break, but now the drivers are out of pit road. Let's take a moment to go through our mid-race break. We go through the top all the drivers on the field. Give you a chance to see where everybody's sitting on the track. The Jarrett Talmadge, your race leader, Thomas Green, is in 2nd place. Brian Baker is in 3rd. JT Sipes, currently 4th. Isaac Shelley in 5th. Jared Newton, currently 6th place. Tim Moore, currently riding around in 7th. Mauricio Lamana in 8th place. Jimmy Amos up to 9th place now that he's back on the lead lap. Brian Miniker rounds out the top 10 currently. Daniel Buttafuoco currently in 11th place. Tyler Dohar is in 12th. James Mendez had a rough night here tonight, but he's currently 13th. Kevin Arguelles, another rough night, currently in 14th. 15th is Brad Qualls. Then you got Justin Rosema in 16th. So he might have taken it behind the pit wall, as well as Vincenzo Iacovazzi. Gatlin Downey, he is currently... he is on track. He is in 18th. Jolene Sims, currently in 19th. She's a couple laps down. Tyler Glass, I think, has taken it behind the pit wall and called it a night after the incidents he's been involved in. And Kyle England, Jewah both also have taken it behind the pit wall. So that's our mid-race break here for tonight. We'll give it another shot here with the sights and sounds when we go green flag racing. See if we can get another chance to ride around on track and maybe even on board with a few drivers. So the outside lane is comprised of Jarrett Talmadge, Thomas Green, JT Sipes, Jared Newton, and Tim Moore. The inside line, rookie Brian Baker, Isaac Shelley, Jimmy Amos. I didn't get a chance to see who that fourth driver was on the inside. The outside line has been the preferred line when it comes to the choose. I mean, Jolene Sims on the inside as well. So right now, Rosema is in the lucky dog position. He's only one lap down Gatlin Downey. I think Rosema's parked it. I don't see him on track anywhere. So right now, Gatlin Downey is the lucky dog. Jolene Sims would be the next candidate up for it. But here we go. We hope you enjoy the sights and sounds of the Pocono Raceway. And the caution is out yet again. That is caution number 9 at this point. We get across the line, 31 laps to go. I believe it was James Mendez bringing out the caution yet again here tonight. That car is pretty toast, looks like. Front end completely gone. Let's go see what happened with the 92. Contact again. Holy cow. Gets a run off and makes contact with the 8. And again, he has trouble with that tunnel turn. We've seen it time and time again. He comes off, making contact with Miniker. And nothing he can do from there. Let's go on board here. Right on board with the 92. I know. Oh, man. Surprised the car did not blow up after that. There was another incident. That was Kevin Yerguez. Not sure what happened with the 34 here, but let's go take a look here. A little bit closer of a look here. See what happened coming out onto that short chute. Baker gets loose and not sure what happened. If he forced the car, if his wheel snapped or something. Take another look at that real quick so we can get a see of what went on with that 34, because it's kind of an unprovoked situation. Oh, wait, not who we wanted. Hold on. My bad. I want Kevin Yerguez. Look. Okay, now we're on board with Kevin Yerguez. Oh, he was trying to save it. The back end got a little loose on him. And that's why he ended up turning like that. Good save, but it really messed up his car, that's for sure. So we crossed the line of 30 laps to go. So now we've got less than 30 to go, almost to the last 20 laps. Might get to the point to where we don't need to worry about fuel runs. A lot of drivers coming down each and every time. Jolene Sims gonna take a wave around here. She's gonna get herself a lap back. Kind of the unconventional way. But she'll find herself, I believe, just 4 laps down with that. So we go around the choose this time. Some drivers trying to fake out others. Jared Newton's going to be on the outside, followed by Tim Moore, Jared Talmadge, and JT Sipes. Looks like the inside is going to be led by Thomas Green, Ryan Miniker, Isaac Shelley. We see James Mendez come back out on track. But man, that car is, it has seen better days. I don't even think it's driving straight. Nah, even hopping in the cockpit, that car is way skewed to the right still. About what I expected. But, you know what? He's back on track. Trying to see what he can salvage out of this. Nice thing is, he's basically locked in on points. He is well in on the playoffs. He's currently, I believe it was 2nd place or 3rd place. Only, I believe it was 4 or 8 points off of the points lead from Jolene Sims. As we get ready to go green flag again for the 9th time here tonight. Cross your fingers, hope real hard, pull those belts tight. Hopefully, for the last time, we can maybe get through green flag to the end. Knock on wood. So here we go. Leading the field, Jared Newton, Thomas Green. The field in the hands of Jared Newton in the 45 machine. Going to take his Toyota Camry through the Geico restart zone. See how big of a jump he can get over Thomas Green. And he's going to get himself a good bit ahead. It's a big jump as well over Tim Moore diving in to turn 1. He's going to have a clear lead. Going to try and hold it 3 wide behind. This is the battle for 3rd place. Tim Moore's going to pull ahead. He's got Thomas Green on the inside. He's going to try and jump behind him and push him down the down the long pond straight. Trying to decide where to go. He's going to settle behind, go to the inside. Newton goes really wide through the tunnel turn. That's going to cost him a spot, maybe even two, as Jared Talmadge is going to get around him. Isaac Shelley's going to look to go around him as well. He's stuck on the outside going around turn 3. Battle for second place, Tim Moore and Jared Talmadge. Thomas Green through that lap, able to pull himself about a half a second lead over the rest of the field. They'll be able to corral him in pretty quickly unless they keep battling behind. Jared Talmadge is looking for every single opportunity he can take to get around Tim Moore. And Jared Talmadge basically locked in on points at this point. Tim, for the most part, I would say is pretty close to locked in, if not already. But he is, we've talked about throughout tonight, is hungry for that first win of not only the season, but since we've made the jump to iRacing. He has been desperate to try and get into victory lane, has put himself so close so many times, but has never quite gotten to the top step. Coming off of turn 3, he's going to settle in behind Talmadge. Shelley's going to drag in behind as well. They're going to try and follow the draft there, as it's about a second gap now between Thomas Green and Jared Talmadge. Since they were battling so much, it allowed Thomas Green to pull away. He's kind of in his own little spot right now. Oh, Shelley get a little slidey off of turn 1. It's going to force him to have to back out there a little bit, drop behind Daniel Botafuco. But for the rest of the field, we're single file. Some drivers still having some trouble getting these tires to temp. As you can see, some drivers struggling, especially off of turn 2. Some a little bit off of turn 3, having some troubles. But Thomas Green is still holding a very steady distance between the rest of the field. That gap stayed the same. He got faster last lap. Ran a 55 flat. Trying to see if he can continue to pull away from Jared Talmadge behind. Isaac Shelley now going to look to the inside of Tim Moore. He should be able to get that move done. Oh, never mind. Gets a little slidey on the exit. Tries to push a little too hard. Not going to be clear going into turn 3, but Tim Moore going to back out a little bit to try and set himself up to get back in line. He's been steadily dropping since the restart. Not a great restart for the 69 car. Taking a look ahead, though. They're trying to see if they can catch up to Thomas Green. That gap shrunk by about a 10th from last lap. So he's still quicker. He's still pretty quick. But if they can work together, Jared Talmadge and Daniel Botafuco might be able to catch up to that 3 car that has run away with the race lead at this point. So as they're trying to catch the race lead, we have a very tight battle back here for 5th place between Tim Moore and JT Sipes. Sipes looks to go to the inside of Moore. Moore gets a little slidey coming around turn 3, trying to get that car all the way down to the yellow line, but you have to be careful you make contact with those curbs. It is just going to turn your car around. Jolene Sims follows behind JT Sipes. She's going to push him down the front stretch, and that should be able to get Sipes ahead and clear of Tim Moore going into turn 1. 5th place now for JT Sipes. That was really our closest battle on track right now. Tim Moore might just be trying to play it safe, trying to save some tire for the end. There's all these other drivers flying by him. But his strategy might be play it safe. We're able to get green flag laps and be able to make it to the end. He can make sure he has the stuff to be able to do it. So as we cross the line, 21 laps remaining. The gap to the race leader now down to 1 second. They're about 1500ths faster than Thomas Green that last lap. So we'll see if Jared Thomas can continue to shrink that gap. He's got help behind from Botafuco, but Botafuco still hanging back a good bit. He's got about a third of a second gap behind him. Where you can see Thomas Green is losing time, it's around turn 3. That's where Thomas Green is fastest, and you can see here if we look by sector. Across the past couple parts of the track, it's split into two, unfortunately, but you can see that Thomas Green is significantly slower around the second half of the track. Even over the past couple laps, you can see that gap and teetering around. Oops, well, that's the wrong way. That's about a Botafuco. We're going to look to Thomas Green. Out of the 3 of the last 5 laps, Thomas has been able to shrink that gap, and now he's in the draft. So he's got the advantage at this point. As that battle rages on, let's go back to battle for 9th place. It's Ryan Miniker and Tyler Dohar. They go side by side through turn 3. Tyler Dohar going to be able to pull ahead. And he's going to pull away with that one. Jumping up a little bit further, Jared Newton, Tim Moore battling it out now for 6th place. Tim still dropping spots in. Still losing time to the guys in front. He's about a half second slower than the front half of the field. So we'll see what the strategy is for Tim Moore. There's something going on in his brain. We're not sure what it is. We'll see if it comes to fruition, but he doesn't want to lose too much time. So right now he finds himself almost 5 seconds off the race lead. JT Sipes into the outside wall, though. Not sure what happened to him. Must have gotten loose coming out of the tunnel turn, but that's going to ruin his race. Unless we get a caution. He's going to have to bring it down. Going to take a look here. JT Sipes. Oh, that wasn't far enough back. Go back the other way here and see if we can find what happened with the 99. Out of the tunnel turn. Or just pushed really tight. It's almost like the wheel might have disconnected or had some sort of steering issue. But that's going to be the race for him, I think. $18 laps to go to be 17 as Thomas Green comes around this time. As we jump back to the front of the racetrack, Thomas Green, your race leader. A gap shrunk down to just half a second now. Jared Thomas has done a great job closing up this gap. And if you take a look here, you can even see just how quickly that gap shrank across the last 5 laps. He's dropped it down to about a half second across 5 laps. Driver 1 second out. So really good running there from the 16 machine. Now we'll see, does he have anything left in the tank to be able to put him a fight against Thomas Green? That's going to be the big question. Thomas Green coming down pit road. So looks like we might get some green flag stops. Tim Moore coming down as well. This will be their last stop to the end of the race. Jared Thomas Botafuco staying out here. Isaac Shelley also staying out. Top 3 all within 1 second of each other right now. Tim Moore and Thomas Green both in their pit boxes now at this point. Looks like full service for both. Or no, sorry. Full service for Green. Right sides only for Tim Moore in the 69. And they are back on track. Jolene Sims diving down pits. But the drivers in the top 5 all electing to stay out here. Maybe taking this as far as they can. Here's the battle for what is currently 11th place. Not sure what it'll be through the pit cycle, though. Thomas is at a clear pace here tonight. Not sure if what we saw earlier from Tim was Tim just hanging back, or did Tim really just not have the pace in comparison to the others? This will be really a true test for him. He's able to hang right on the back bumper of the 3. If he was hanging back, now's the time to push. Got to try and make up time while the others are further ahead, just running clean laps. Kind of the opportunity to make something happen. Jumping back to the race lead. Daniel Botafuca right on the bumper of the 16. He's finally caught up to him. He's had some really good pace. He was 2/10 faster than last lap. Down to the inside for the 13 for the race lead. He's back to the front. Can he clear on the exit of turn 1? Are we going to see the crossover from the 16? Contact! He puts Botafuca in the wall! What? Wow. 10th caution of the night. Talmadge wrecking Botafuca for the race lead. I think it seemed purely incidental. But dang, that unfortunately kind of throws the strategy out the window. Let's go back one more time. We're going to go from the wide angle here on the blimp. We'll slow it down here. You see the big dive by the 13 has to really let off to get through the corner and get that rotation. Here's where it goes wrong. The crossover. He thought the 13 was going to come up a little bit more. That's where contact is made. Forces him loose, and it just breaks the car to the outside. Big hit on the outside wall there for the 13 of Daniel Botafuca. Go back one more time. We're going to watch it this time on board with the 13. You see how great of a move he makes. Early entry, gets that car way down to the yellow. Gets to rotate. And then nothing he can do. He's just along for the ride once he gets hit. So Tim Moore, Thomas Green came down the pits. They were one of a few drivers that did. Mauricio Lamana, Jimmy Amos all coming down. Everybody else had not come down pit road yet. Anybody in the top 9 have yet to come down for the final stop. They will probably do it this time. But I'll put Thomas Green and Tim Moore to the front if they stay out. So we'll see what the strategy call is from those two. Tyler Dohar electing to not come down pit lane. The 77 stays out. He'll take the race lead. Thomas Green up to the front. Tim Moore also going to go to the front as well. My guess, everybody's going to take 4 tires here on pit lane. Nice long green flag run. Race off pit road won by Jared Talmadge, Isaac Shelley 2nd, Brian Baker 3rd, Jared Newton 4th, and Daniel Botafuca came off 5th. So as a reminder, next race is our regular season finale. We're going to be heading down south to Alabama for Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to finish up the regular season at the 2.66 mile Superspeedway. Last chance for anybody outside of the top 12 to try and make the playoffs, so make sure you join us next weekend. It'll be next Saturday, same time, same place. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard start. Make sure you join us for next week's Talladega race. Definitely going to be a good one. Drivers are going to be choosing this time around. So let's see what the strategies are. Tyler Dohar elects the outside. Jared Talmadge, Isaac Shelley, all choosing the outside. Those Baker and Newton. The inside is going to be chosen by Thomas Green, Botafuco, Miniker, and that's it, I think. I think it's just the 3 cars. So not sure why, but for some reason we are going to be going one more time around. All right, never mind. A little bit of confusion going on. We had, I think somebody stopped on pit road or something, which brought the delayed green, but they were able to get it fixed. So we are back down to 1 to green. So we're going to go green this next time around. 10 laps to go. Tyler Dohar in control of the field. Thomas Green on the inside. Daniel Botafuco. Tim Moore right behind both of them. Here we go. Through the Geico restart zone. Tyler Dohar gonna lead the field. Here we go. Green flag racing. Possibly the final restart here for tonight. 10 laps to go here in the Barbie's Terrible 200. Dohar gets a great run. Looks like Tim almost clear. Thomas Green going into turn 1. It's going to be 3 wide behind for second place. Daniel Botafuco stuck in the middle of the 3 wide there. Tim Moore is not going to be able to get into the outside. And so you see Tyler Dohar going to try and control both lanes. He's riding around. He's going to pull Thomas Green to try and keep him side by side with Botafuco. Going to try and keep them racing behind him. Not going to get it done. Is Botafuco able to pull ahead? Tim Moore kind of in an awkward spot. Almost gets a nose to the outside. Lots of wiggling coming off there. Off at turn 2 by all the drivers in the top 5. So we go down to turn 3. The battle for the race lead pretty tight. You see the battle further behind just keeps going on and on. Tim Moore again getting stuck on the outside. We saw this on the last restart. He got stuck on the outside and is just dropping through the field. Jockeying for position behind, side by side up front between Botafuco and Dohar. Going into turn 1, almost a little bit of contact between Green and Dohar. Maybe a little bit actually that caused Dohar to wiggle off of turn 1. It's going to be Dohar side by side with Thomas Green down the long pond straight. Daniel Botafuco's got the clear lead. He's going to try and pull away with it as well. Looks like Tyler Dohar is going to get clear of Thomas Green, almost going into turn 2. Not going to be able to, as, oh man, he almost gets shoved into the outside wall. That's Shelley and Baker into the outside wall on the exit of the tunnel turn. And now we're going to be side by side going into turn 3. The battle for second place is extremely tight. Daniel Botafuco gets a nice look of it from his rear view mirror, just like how Thomas Green did earlier. Thomas Green had the huge advantage of being able to pull away. We're seeing a similar situation here for Daniel Botafuco. He's not quite far enough away, though. The draft is still there for the cars behind. As you see, They're moving all over the place, trying to find the best line, trying to get the most pace out of their cars as we go down turn 1. Currently top 3, Buttafuoco, Green, Talmadge, and then you've also got just outside the top 3, Tim Moore in 4th, Shelley in 5th. Dohar has gotten shuffled through the order a little bit. So top 7 is what it is. It's up here. All single file. Jolene Sims also a part of this group. We've got 2 packs at this point. Take a look at the front pack right now, the first pack. Then you see the second pack a little bit further behind, led by Jared Newton in that 45. We've got the 8 of Ryan Minker, the 31 of Fabricio Lamana, 34 of Kevin Yerquez, and the 13 of Brad Qualls, all also filing in behind. Fastest lap of the race just set there by Thomas Green, 54.84. He was about a 10th faster than Daniel Buttafuoco that last lap. That gap's still about 4/10 of a second. But that draft has been super helpful for the 3 car. He's been able to use it to his advantage to stay close and even close up that gap a little bit to the number 19. Going through the tunnel turn, he gained a lot of time there on the 13. Got 7 laps to go coming around. It'll be 6 to go this time. So if Green's going to try and compete for this race win, he's got to get a move on. Got to get that 3 car up there soon so he can try and make a move. He's been really good at passing, but then again, so has Buttafuoco. We've seen both of them make great moves, especially into turn 1. They have that move down almost to a science where they're able to send it really deep, get that car to rotate, and then get on the throttle enough to be able to get the rotation through on the car. And no, Thomas Green has disappeared. He's back on track, though. We're good to go. They're starting to pull away from Jared Talmadge behind, it looks like. The 2 of them almost matched pace here, coming around turn 3. And you can see Buttafuoco is getting everything out of that car. You can see the back end sliding around coming off of turn 3. He is pushing this car to the absolute limits. 4 of the top 5 cars, all Chevrolet. Only outlier up here is Isaac Shelley in his Ford Mustang. And a half-second gap now between Thomas Green and Daniel Buttafuoco. He's trying everything he can to get that car up there. Just not quite enough at this point of the race. He's running out of time. On board with Thomas Green. He's got great pace. The problem is he's matching it lap for lap with Buttafuoco. Running that all the way to the outside wall. Got the draft there. That's going to help him a little bit. But when it comes to the rest of the track, it's just not quite enough. Further behind, we've got the battle for 8th place. Ryan Miniker, Fabricio Lamana. They've got Gatlin Downey also up there. Gatlin Downey a couple laps down. Let's see if Fabricio Lamana looking to go to the inside. Is going to get pretty close. Going to try and move to the inside. He's going to get side by side with Miniker. Trying to get the pull from Gatlin Downey. It's going to be enough for him to get even going into the tunnel turn. Gets the nose in there. Gets enough rotation. Has to stay off of Miniker though. Oh, big slide as he tries to keep it enough of a distance to not make contact. That's going to drop him behind. Going back to the front, we've got 3 to go. Daniel Buttafuoco holding on to the race lead. It's been widening. He was about a 10th faster that lap over Thomas Green. Not a great turn 1 by Thomas Green, so he's going to fall further behind. If he's got anything left in the tank of that 3 car, he's got to use it now. trying to maximize everything he can out of the car, make contact with the outside wall, and I think that's going to be enough to basically solidify it for Botafuco, given any other shenanigans going on track. But as they come around this time by, it's going to be popsicle sticks in the air from Barney the Flagman to Daniel Botafuco. 2 to go. Come back to the battle for 8th place. Jared Newton makes his way around Miniker. Going to move him up to 8th. Miniker into the outside wall. Fabricio Lamana going to see if he can make his way around the 8 car again. But it's still a while to go. Back up to the front. Shelley, Tim Moore battling around. This is the battle for 4th place currently. Tim a little bit of a wiggle out of turn 1. Shelley going to get a little bit of help from Jolene Sims. That's going to be enough. That might even get Shelley clear going into the tunnel turn. Yes, he will. So that's back up to 4th place for Isaac Shelley. Jumping back ahead. Battle for 2nd place. Going to be pretty close. Jared Talmadge has been able to close in Thomas Green a good bit. Thomas Green might have burned up those tires with how hard he was pushing to try and stay up with Daniel Botafuco. A white flag in the air. Daniel Botafuco going to take the white flag, looking for the race win. This race is official at this point. Whatever happens, the next flag we take is the checkered flag. Looks like Thomas Green just doing everything he can to hold on to 2nd place. Jared Talmadge doing a great job staying up there. Given the results, Jared Talmadge is probably going to be your points leader after tonight. Getting ready to head into the final race of the regular season. Good battle behind as well. Isaac Shelley and Tim Moore going at it for 4th place. They're currently looking the battle for 2nd place. Coming around the tunnel turn, gets a lot of the apron for Thomas Green. Side by side with Jared Talmadge. Talmadge going to be able to clear. Is Thomas Green going to have enough speed to send it on the inside? Does not look like it. So Jared Talmadge moves up to 2nd place. Daniel Botafuco ran away with this one, though. And there he goes. Daniel Botafuco gets the race win here at Pocono. Jared Talmadge coming home in 2nd place. Thomas Green 3rd. Isaac Shelley 4th. Tim Moore finishing it out on the top 5. Looking further back, we've got a good battle coming to the line. It's going to be Miniker beating out Fabricio Lamana. We got cars all over the place here at the Fish. So a wild race here tonight. 10 cautions, unfortunately. But with all being said and done, there's some really good battling going on, especially at the end of the race. So let's take a moment to look through our final results here for tonight before we get into our driver interviews. So we've got Daniel Botafuco, your race winner, with Jared Talmadge right behind. Thomas Green finishing it out in 3rd place. 4th place, Isaac Shelley. Tim Moore rounds out the top 5. Coming behind Tim Moore in 6th, Tyler Dohar. 7th place, Brian Baker. 8th place, Jared Newton. 9th, Ryan Miniker. Fabricio Lamana rounds out top 10 for tonight. Brad Qualls finishes in 11th and is trying to solidify his way into the playoffs for season 11. Kevin Urguez finishes in 12th. He's the last car on the lead lap. Jimmy Amos, first car a lap down. Then you've got Gatlin Downey in 14th, James Mendez in 15th, Jolene Sims in 16th. You've got Vincenzo Iacovazzi in 17th, JT Sipes in 18th. And then rounding out our field, Justin Rosema in 19th, Tyler Glass 20th, Kyle England 21st, and Drew Jewah is a nice 69 laps down, finishing in 22nd. So, now that we got that all out of the way, let's see if we can get our drivers in here for some interviews. We're going to start off with Thomas Green. So we've got Thomas Green up here in the booth, driver of the number 3, bringing it home in 3rd place tonight. And Thomas, you had a really good car there. Thought you were going to be able to give Daniel Botafuco something, but it just seems like the car kind of died on you there at the end. Talk us through what happened in the dying laps.
Yeah, I think the front end damage could have done a little bit. Yeah, we just I just didn't have the speed that him and Jared had. They were able to roll certain corners a lot better than me, and I was fighting a loose car. But short run, we had a lot of speed, but yeah, just not quite what we needed for to get the win there.
Now, taking a look before that caution came out with about, I think it was 13 to go, you and Tim decided you guys were going to come down and stop earliest under green. Had that gone green to the end, where do you think you guys would have finished up? Because you guys were working together pretty well there.
Yeah, that's what I was really hoping was going to play out so we could see it. But yeah, it just didn't work. I mean, it kind of didn't really hurt us because we were able to have fresh tires and not have to pit on the next caution. I took 2 the previous caution, just kind of hoping to get out front, get some clean air, and then try to maybe strategize to get to the end. And I tried, and it just didn't quite work out the way we needed it to. But I think it's kind of up in the air of where we would have cycled out. I think there was a lot of different strategies that could have worked there, and the one we were on, I wasn't sure if it was the right one, but it was kind of a gamble. And I wish I would have seen how it could play out so we could see what exactly would have went down. But nonetheless, P3 is solid, and we'll head to Dega and try to get a win in the regular season.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of was hoping it was going to stay green to the end. I was really hoping to see how your guys' strategy was going to play out. Unfortunately, it didn't, but it is what it is. Still a third place finish for you, and it's a nice point stay. So hopefully get you locked in for the playoffs here going into Talladega. Before you head on out, anybody you would like to thank or anything else you would like to say?
I just want to say shout out to you for always broadcasting. I always love watching them back. And a big shout out to my teammate Jared there for always racing me clean and always strategizing with me. And shout out to my girlfriend Anna for all the love and support.
All right. Well, thank you, Thomas, for joining me up here in the booth, and congratulations on your third place finish here tonight.
Thank you, man.
So that was Jared Talmadge, driver of the 3 machine. And now we're going to bring up our second place finisher. We've got Jared Talmadge, driver of the 16, coming home in second place here tonight. A great run there in the last couple laps to be able to get yourself ahead of Thomas Green. But after tonight, you're going to be back to the points lead. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. I don't know, I'm a little bit disappointed. I feel like I should have won that. I had pretty good pace, and yeah, I don't know, I need a better restart than what we got. Kind of got stuck behind people doing 2, 3 wide, and just allowed Buttafuoco to get out too far. And once I was behind Thomas, there really wasn't anything I could really do, to be honest. Just double dirty air, and I was just kind of sitting there until he made that mistake, and then whooped P2 up, so we'll take it.
Yeah, like I was just talking with Thomas. I mean, we were kind of hoping it was going to go green flag to the end after that 9th caution, but with that pit strategy, it was definitely making things interesting because you guys were, at first on that restart, you fell behind Thomas, but then you reeled him back in before he pit. So it's going to be really interesting to see how things play out. But with this race, I mean, second place, you're locked in for the playoffs at this point. You've got 2 wins on the season. So going into Talladega, what's going to be your strategy?
Absolutely flip and send it. Absolutely no
Fair.
strategy. We end up on our lid. We're either leading the most laps and winning, or we're ended up in the infield care center. There ain't no strategy.
That is totally fair. And if we really don't have much to lose at this point, considering you are up at the top of the points standings, but it'll be interesting to see how Dega goes with a lot of drivers being locked in at this point. But then after that, we go to Darlington, so that's going to be a very fun race. But before you head on out, Jarrett, anybody you would like to thank, anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, shout out you've put on the broadcast, and I guess we'll shout out Thomas.
All right, well, congratulations on your second place finish, Jarrett, and congratulations on finding yourself at the top of the point standings again tonight.
Thank you.
So now we're going to bring in our, whoops, there we go. Give me 1 second. Now we're bringing in our race winner here tonight. We've got Daniel Buttafuoco. On track, it was the 13. On the timing board, it was the 19, but that's all right. But Daniel, congratulations on that win. It was a bit of a wild race, a lot of incidents going on. You survived a lot of different things throughout that race, but just take us through that last restart. You pulled away there for a bit, but it seemed like Thomas was going to keep up there with you for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a feeling my tires are going to be somewhat good there towards the end. The car didn't really drive the greatest on the short run, so it was a little difficult there. And he also had a bit of my draft there too, so that helped a bit too with keeping in my toe. And I mean, overall, it was a good race up until I kind of just hit a banana peel off turn 1 and Did something stupid there off turn 1, but other than that, did good. Kind of just chilled for pretty much the whole race. Was just chilling pretty much, and then went when I needed to go, and pretty much from there that was the race. So yeah, had fun for a little bit there towards the end, and yeah, ended off in a high note, which was a P1. So really happy about that. Big thanks to Eddie for letting me run this one off for his team, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you back on track again, especially after I think it was last season at home, so it was the last time we saw you, and it just was a bit of an unfortunate race for you getting caught in a couple big incidents. But looking to tonight, you had really good running. You were throughout the field again, got stuck in some incidents, but like you said, end of the day, finishing P1. You have a lot of experience, not only from NASCAR Heat being in the Pro Series, but even being in a lot of the Road to Pro Series and high level of racing here on iRacing. How does that kind of experience help you in league race, especially when it comes down to like these just quick little shootouts to try and get to the finish?
Yeah, I mean, the races nowadays in NASCAR are very short. I mean, they're kind of they're pretty much the equivalent of 25% races in Heat when you think of it in terms of like cup length in a way. So the races are short. They're kind of, I don't want to say dashes. They're normally like 100 laps in a mile and a half. So it's, you've got to be on your A game. You've got to make sure you qualify good, be in a good spot pretty much. Really not a lot of room for error. And that's something I've struggled with the past few years. But it kind of teaches you in league races there, you know, especially that short run, you know, when you've got to go in a short amount of time, you've got to go. You can't really sit back and wait for something to happen, or so it's that's one thing there. And I don't know, when you race in that level of racing for quite a while, you kind of just adapt as you have more laps, more experience, more seat time in that environment, but there's always things to learn. So it helped me a lot into this race, but mainly because this race was longer than usual. Road to Pro last year here was 60 laps compared to the 80 here. So longer races like this, it's a little easier to kind of dictate your own race, whereas in other like NASCAR races, you've got to qualify good and you've got to be, you know, you've just pretty much got to go at that point. Can't really sit back.
Yeah, especially on those last late runs, like you say, you don't really have a lot of time to think. It's just got to go. Before you head on out to celebrate your race win, anything? I know you shouted out Eddie, but is there anybody else you would like to shout out? Anybody else you would like to thank?
Thank everybody at Motorsports Racing. Really great oval team that we have here. I'd say probably the best oval team right now in iRacing. I won't lie to you. I have guilt. I feel like I wish I could be up there in a Coke series with them. It's kind of frustrating sometimes. I wish I could give those guys a better effort sometimes on track, but I'm still really happy to be on that team and hopefully to race for them for years to come and hopefully make to the Coke series at some point finally. That would be great. Everybody at EPI, my JDR graphics, obviously for being on a car, all my friends, I guess. And, yeah, and you guys for broadcasting, putting up this race, and, Eddie for letting me, race here. And yeah, but pretty much everybody at NFR. I mean, that's kind of the main reason why I'm where I'm at right now. And I'm just hoping that I can, put back those gremlins I've had the past 2 years and put it all aside and just have some luck go our way and make it to the top at some point.
Well, congratulations on your win tonight, and best of luck for you going forward in the Road to Pro Series. I know we've seen you in round 2 the past 2 years. Hopefully you can get over that hump and make your way to the Coke Series. Yeah,
I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So that was Daniel Buttafuoco, your race winner here for tonight, running a one-off race, but he had a phenomenal showing there at the end, putting on a masterclass of pace. But with all that being said, we want to take a moment to thank you all for joining us here at Racing Lights Productions for the Online Motorsports Association's Virtual Racing Championships, Barbie's Terrible 200. Congratulations again to Daniel Buttafuoco for taking the win in tonight's race. Join us next week for the regular season finale at Talladega. Make sure to follow the OMA over on Twitter with @OMA_league to stay up to date on everything happening with the league. We hope you all enjoyed the broadcast tonight. I want to thank the OMA again for allowing us to bring this race to all of you. Be sure to check out Racing Lights Productions over on Twitter with @RacingLightsPro, as well as on Instagram and Facebook. You can also check out previous race broadcasts here on the YouTube channel. I am Alex Lights saying good night to you from the virtual Pocono Raceway. Thanks again for tuning in.